Hi, welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show. Today we're going to talk about that beast mindset, and a beast mindset coming from a woman whose journey is truly one of, let's call it pure beauty. And not just beauty, but beauty through a way of telling her story through a canvas, through sculpture, through art. Without further ado, let's welcome to the show Miss Shu to the show. How you doing, Shu?
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for having me here. Truly appreciate.
You know, I looked at your artwork, and we'll get to that in a minute. I looked at your artwork, but your story didn't start with art. So tell the viewers a little bit about who you are before we get into your story.
Well, I was this girl, grew up in a third world country in China, and it was always my childhood dream to come to United States to pursue my dreams and have a better life, have my freedom. So in my early 20s, I was 24, I was 25, I immigrated to this country, and I was married to my ex-husband. I knew I always had the passion for art. However, he was the bread earner, and so he made the call. Even though I told him I'd love to go to art school to become an artist, he said, no, you are not going to study something so useless that you can't even get a job. So you're either going to nursing school to become a nurse, or you're going to be a waitress. And I was like, I tried so hard to come to this country. I don't think being a waitress, that's my ambition. So in a way, I was kind of forced to go into nursing school because I do want to be educated. So after 2 years of preparation, took all the prerequisites, I got into nursing program at the University of Northern Colorado with a 4.0 GPA. But right after that, it was our marriage separation. He told me, but during that time, I had no family or friends. And he told me he wants to divorce me. I said, yeah, that's fine. Then he said, if you want me to divorce you, that's okay. But you cannot ask me a dime as your alimony. I said, I'll be fine. All I want is my freedom and happiness. So I left the marriage penniless, and actually I was more than $20,000 in debt from my student loans. It was very hard. No family, no friends, no money. All I had was Nissan Honda Civic. I couldn't talk to anyone, including my dad, who lives in China, because I knew if I tell him anything like that, instead of encouraging me, supporting me, he would tell me, see, I told you, you shouldn't have gone to United States. I didn't want to hear any of more negativity things. So, but I still collect myself together, and deep down there, I believed in myself. I knew my life would be so much better. So I fought hard, got many jobs, and studied, read a book. My first finance book was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That really helped me. So I started looking into finance. Then I know the difference between, some people love to be employed, and some people are entrepreneurs. Some people they're self-employed. Then I graduated to learn those difference, and that's how I started the investment journey.
Let me ask you a question. That took a lot of courage. You were
Yeah.
young when your husband left you. When was it both of you guys' ambition to come to the United States, you and your husband, while you was overseas living?
Oh, um, actually, my ex-husband, he was born and raised in this country.
Oh, so you married somebody that was an American already when you came.
Yes, I married an American.
So when you,
I married an American.
I'm trying to make sure I get some clarity for the viewers. You came over here alone with no support, no friends,
Yes.
no nothing. Wow. What was your first?
Nothing.
What's the
I
first?
shows up.
Like what happened? Like you get off the plane, then what?
Oh, could you repeat that again?
When you came over here alone, what were
I
you thinking?
got up. So life in China was not easy. I grew up in a dysfunctional family. My mom was very abusive, emotionally and physically abusive. So, in my younger age, if she beat me up 3 times a day, that's an easy day.
Wow.
And I love to draw since I was a young girl, and I was introverted. I never mind anyone's business. And also, I have always been so independent. I love to sharpen my pencil and just sit quietly, do my artwork. And when I was 5, my mom was so upset because I was just doing art. She just stabbed me with a sharpened pencil into my palm. And that kind of sums up my childhood. So with that as my background, I definitely endured lots of hardship at a young age. To me, I really had nothing to lose. I want to try. I want to have a good life. Even
So
at a young age, the times I was so upset and sad, and I told myself, well, this is not my life. My life should be a lot better than this.
So let me ask a question, and my apologies for how your mom treated you. You know, and what's even more shocking, I don't know much about the third world countries. You don't hear stories like yours of abuse. When I'm thinking of the Orient in their culture, it's always strong family values. You know, you portrayed in the media and on television like truly a wholesome family. You never hear this, but here it is. You was a victim of childhood abuse. What about your father? Did he intervene in this? When you say dysfunctional family, you mentioned your mom, but what about your dad? And did you have brothers and sisters?
So I was born during the one-child policy, so I have no siblings. My dad was working, and at the same time, my whole family knows my mom's temperament, and I don't think my dad would really want to deal with her. I think he already checked out. I saw him once a year, maybe 1 week, 10 days maximum a year.
Mm-hmm.
He was never around, and I just had to deal with her. And I know you're talking about Westerners see the Asians as family orientated.
Right.
I think maybe it was that case, but I think Cultural Revolution had a big thing to do with that. It really broke family apart. It's really different. This is just not me. Many children in my generation went through something very similar. A classmate of mine, not classmate, we're in the same grade, different.
How difficult was it? You said in your generation, where it's so funny that you're here and we're talking about this because I was talking to my best friend Scott, and he was really talking about the one child situation that you grew up in. I heard of the policy. I've never talked to anyone that was part of that time period. Were you introduced to other children as well that was from a one child structure? I'm pretty sure. Were they abused or anything, or was how did you guys look at that policy? I know it's probably you probably don't really understand it, but looking back now, how did you guys understand that?
I think during that time, people were just following the government, what they said. Mm-hmm. Because when you don't follow government's rules, you will be punished. So I know in the countryside, women, they will be hiding in the mountains, in the caves. In the city, the parents might lose their job. And at the same time, they will pay a fine as well. And some women, they be 7 months pregnant, they be dragged to the hospital to get abortion. And so government has a lot of control over people's life.
How did you make the exodus to leave? What was your plan? I get it, and I know that had to be hard. How did you manage to even escape?
So when I was 10 years old, my grandparents were turning the big family. All my all of my cousins and my uncles, my parents, they were there talking about during the Cultural Revolution, what happened to them. My grandpa's cousin, and he used to be the landlord of the village. So after the Communist Party won the war, he swallowed gold to kill himself. And my grandpa was sitting in the living room in front of the metal basin. He just burned bags and bags of money, cash. My grandma had to destroy anything like China that's valuable. Then afterwards, they took the house away. And my grandma, every morning, sent to the back of the truck. They tied her hands behind her. They put boards behind her head, and people tossing eggs, vegetable, and her, and among many other people, because they were business people and they stole from rich, so they'll be punished.
How did you escape? How did you get away and get to the United States?
When I heard that, that's why I was like, I have to get out of this place and I need my freedom. So eventually, I didn't have a plan, or that it wasn't really constantly in my conscious mind. And it just happened. I met my ex-husband. He's American, and he brought me to this country.
So he was already in your country, correct?
Yes, he was a college student.
Did you share with him what you was going through, and how difficult was it for him to get you to America, knowing that you guys have rules and regulation in the government?
So that was my second time apply for a visa. The first time was denied. So first time I was trying to get a tourist visa to come to United States. They denied me. They do not want to have young women to get out of China coming to America. So the second time I tried a K1, like fiancé visa, and in that way it happened. but it was not easy. It took me for almost a year in order to get the visa.
Mm-hmm. Were you guys, you and your husband, were you cohabitating going through this process, waiting for your visa to come back to the United States?
He was in United States already,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in China. So I was dealing with my part in China, going to send the documents and having lawyers look over all the documents if they're correct. Then flying to Guangzhou, going for my interview and medical exams.
Were you guys financially well off to do all this? This sounds like it takes a lot of money. And you mentioned people burning money in your family. I mean, how did you manage to do this? Did your husband help you financially to get over here, to get to the United States?
Definitely. My ex-husband definitely helped. He was a student and he had lots of student loans as well. It was a huge burden for him. So it was his stepmom. She helped. She was a sponsor for me. And he didn't have any money. And on my side, I didn't have anything either.
So she sponsored you to get you over here. Once you got here, how did you feel? Once you got to U.S. soil and they said now arriving in the United States, what went through your mind?
First of all, I was very excited. I wasn't even nervous, not even a little bit, just filled with pure joy and excitement. I feel like the whole world is mine. I can do anything I want and conquer anything, conquer the world.
Really?
I shows up here with my the tiny, small electronic translator.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as I got out of the gate, then I looked around, I was like, oh my gosh, there's no way I can start typing on my electronic translator. I didn't even know there's a term called a baggage claim. So I didn't know which way I should be going.
Right.
I stood there for 5 or 10 seconds. Then I was like, oh, I know which way to go. Just follow that man. He was on my airplane.
Right.
So that's how I got to the custom.
So who met you at the airport?
It was my ex-husband's mom.
Okay. Where was your future husband?
Actually, his flight was delayed. He was in Canada and stuck there.
Oh, okay. So was this your first time meeting his mother? I take it?
Yes, first time.
What was that like for you?
Yes.
What was that like?
I was happy to see her. Excited, a little bit nervous, and sometimes didn't have much to talk about because I didn't speak the language.
Now you wind up getting married. How long did it take for you to get married once you came to the United States? And naturally, you guys are probably living with his mother because he's still a student in college, correct? So how long did it take?
He was just graduating.
Okay.
We got married in a little over a month.
Okay. How long did it take for things to go crazy? How long did it take for the marriage to fizzle out?
It was 3 years. Oh, it took you 3 years. I guess the so-called love couldn't stand basic needs like food, shelter, this essential stuff. It was the kind of young love that we didn't have anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
But And since things got better, he got promotion. Then he started feeling like he's a big guy and he's doing great and young. And so he started flirting with other women. And so the marriage started just going downhill.
Mm-hmm. When you decided to separate, it seemed like he would have had compassion knowing you didn't have any support in the United States. Like, I can't even fathom. Did he even try to help you through the divorce or whatever? I just can't see how somebody can just bring somebody from another country over here and basically be like, okay, you're on your own. You know, I can't fathom that.
Actually, last year we had a brief phone call because he needed my help with his second divorce. I finally asked him, I said, did you ever thought about that you told me you wouldn't even give me a dime? And I agreed with, but did you ever thought about my situation that I had no one to help me? And you're being absolutely unkind to me. He was in shock for a second. Then he said, I just thought you can always make it happen.
That was his reply. I thought you can make it happen.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to get back on your feet and get your life back in order? You didn't call your dad. You didn't call your mom.
No, did not. My mom passed away.
I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that.
The same year I immigrated to this country, my mom passed away.
Did you go back for the funeral? I take it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was very sad.
Okay. Did you ever get a chance to mend or whatever what she had done to you and the impact, the reasons that you left and so forth? Or
here's something that's very interesting. I knew that was very difficult for me. However, the abusing part is almost part of Chinese culture, the Asian culture. I only thought about, oh, my parents just want the best for me. Not until my divorce, I wouldn't even know that was abuse. It was my divorce. I was a different side of me just awakened. I started have American friends. I saw how they treat their children and how their parents treat them. I start questioning myself. This is very different compared to what I experienced.
mm-hmm.
Then I start knowledge that I said, oh, what I went through, that's not supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So till this day, my dad still, he still thinks it's me. I'm the one being a terrible child. That's why they had to do it, what they had to do. Yeah.
You know, I'm really sorry that happened to you, but I see now a different side of you. You've overcome so much. I mean, when you talk about that beast mindset, you definitely should get one of the prizes for it because that's a lot to overcome. It's sad that your mom passed and you still kept all of this stuff inside you, and it took a divorce to let you see this isn't how life is supposed to be. So now you start meeting American friends, you're reading finance books and so forth. But you did you get involved in the workplace? Did you work at all once all this was said and done? Did you get a job?
Oh, absolutely. Because I have no one to support me, so I have to work. And I try many jobs. I work as waitress as well. I was a nanny as well, and eventually I become a real estate agent. So selling property, and I started flipping properties. Dealing with contractor definitely is hard. So I no longer involved in fixing properties anymore, but now just investing in stocks and options.
You taught yourself all this, or you went to school?
I told you about my ex-husband forced me to go to nursing school. So I got in school with a 4.0 GPA. That was really hard to achieve. And so I finished my first semester in the nursing school, but I was not happy at all. One of my professors, she was my friend to me. So I told her about the whole situation, and she suggested me to drop out from nursing program. And I told her, I said, Maxine, I really don't want to quit. I feel like quitter. I hate that. She said, no, you're not quitting. You're making a change, and making change is hard. So that's why I decided to drop out from nursing school and started to devote myself into a career path.
And which career path was that? Was that flipping the house? Was that financing? Was that stock? Was it all of the above?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, all about finance. I was so broke. I had nothing at all. All I can think about to get myself in a better situation, financially set, so I don't have to worry about my future that much. So I try hard. I used to work I used to sleep 3 to 4 hours a day.
Wow.
It was just I was just a work machine. And because I know I have to take advantage of the time while I'm still young and able. So I took every minute of my life as precious, and I worked hard and try hard and save my money and try to be wise about it.
Now, on some lighter notes, let's talk about what happened to you 2024, coming out of the COVID. But in 2024, you was featured in the Wall Street Journal. How did all that take place?
Now, actually, 2024, it was featured on CNBC.
Yeah.
This year, I got featured in the Wall Street Journal. So, because I love to invest, and I read more books about investing besides Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I read lots of books about Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett, Ben Graham, and sometimes I have a money manager as well during that time. So I visited Omaha with my bronze sculpture. And so I just try hard to advertise my work wherever I go, and I bring them with me. The bronze sculpture is not lightweight. I know it weighs 45 pounds. Wow. And I went to one of the investor conference, and I just showed up there and set it up, and I was there as long for half day, and then they kicked me out. And yeah. So, but eventually, I had this.
No, go ahead. Finish the story. Go ahead.
Yeah, then eventually I had this opportunity to meet up with the CNBC journalist through my money manager. So yeah, then I brought, for sure, I had my sculpture over my shoulders. I carried the two small ones as well. Right. And so she saw them and she was very interested in it, and she liked the sculptures, and also she found my stories were interesting. Where are the sculptures that you're famous for? Do you have those close by so the viewers can see them? Yeah, I do have one right here.
Now,
This
who
is
is that?
Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett? Wow.
This is Yes, this is the Warren Buffett.
So you make that, you design and make those?
Yes, the
How
whole
long
thing from the scratch, building the armchair and
that
um.
looks heavy. That
So
looks heavy.
for my first, yeah, it's 45 pounds. It's not light.
That is a
And
beautiful.
so my first piece.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So for this is my second piece. It's Warren Buffett sculpture. The first one was Charlie Munger, and it took me over 9 months to create that piece. I didn't have that much experience, and I had to sculpt them from photos. Charlie Munger has always been known as low profile, so it's very difficult for me to find the good reference photos online.
Mhm.
After I third month, I was stuck in that stage. Charlie didn't have a neck. It looked weird to me, so I reached out to Charlie Munger. I wrote an email to Charlie Munger and also his right-hand lady, Dorothy, and asking them if Charlie could pose for me. And I waited for almost a month. I never heard anything back from them. So I decided to knock on the door. 2023, I think it was around March or something, I shows up at Charlie's Los Angeles home. I knock on the door, and the right-hand lady, Dorothy, said, "Do not do this again." And then I was sharing with the photos I was sharing with her. So this is a project I've been working on. I would love to create a beautiful bust of Mr. Munger. Would that be possible to have Mr. Munger to pose for me? She said, "We received your email. I was just about to tell him about that this afternoon. Just go home and wait." So within a week, she got back to me, and Charlie wrote on the letter, says, "Thank you, but I'm done posing." The assistant was very nice. She took some photos
Right.
from the side, different angles, then sent to me as a reference photo to help me to finish the sculpture.
So was he nice to you about what you was trying to create for him? Because it seemed like if somebody's trying to create a bust for me, I'm going to be pretty nice to you to give you whatever you need. Because you can tell that took some time. So was he nice to you, and has he seen this finished product?
So first of all, I wasn't creating for him. I created because the reason I created that because I know this is going to be a great business, and at the same time I know people admire him and Warren Buffett. I'd love to spread their spirits, have people owning their piece by having them as their mentors sitting in their office to remind of them. And so that's why I wasn't really creating for him, but he was very nice about it. They were really willing to help with the reference photo. And at the same time, just by the time I finished the sculpture of Charlie Munger, he passed away after Thanksgiving. So that was very sad because I was planning to gift the first piece to Mr. Munger as his 100th birthday, but then he passed away. However, 2024 and Omaha, so the Marriott hotel I was staying at has always been his go-to place. So his whole family was staying there. And so his right-hand lady, Dorothy, she saw the sculpture of Mr. Munger, and she told the staff and the Marriott, where's the artist? I have to meet her. Please let me know.
Mm-hmm.
And so after I returned to the hotel from meetings, I met with Dorothy, and I also met Charlie Munger's daughter, Wendy Munger, as well.
Wow. And what did they say to you?
They really love the bust, and they appreciate the fact I created this sculpture to honor Mr. Munger, and they're very happy that I captured his spirit.
So you're doing other projects too. You also draw. You also are an artist on canvas too. I saw some of your work
Yeah.
that included Morgan Freeman and stuff. I thought that was pretty unique. So you're gonna do,
Yes.
yeah, you're gonna do these, and you're gonna make busts out of these drawings too.
Actually, that's the plan. A while ago, once in Taiwan, I already created a sculpture of Morgan Freeman. So that's why I did the drawing first. However, it's in Taiwan. There's no way I can carry the sculpture back to United States.
Right.
Yeah, so it's left in my Taiwan home.
So what's your end game? Are you now taking people's images for them, like myself, and I give you my picture, and you now can create that same type of bust for me? Is that the end game? What you're doing now with your business?
Yes, I definitely can create commission pieces like sculptures for people. However, the best would be sculpt from someone in person. That way, I get to know the person's personality a lot better, and so I can use my artistic skill to translate into my work, how I feel about this person. So a work like that will be a lot more lively, has a lot more energy. In the meantime,
how long does it take to create a bust for a person? What's usually the time frame if they come out and meet you, or you go to meet them? How long does it take to do the drawing and the complete project itself?
From scratch to the bronze sculpture.
Yes.
That's going to be probably at least 4 to 5 months. Me sculpting part requires at least 60 hours of work. That's just sculpting. That doesn't include me drawing, studying them. And sometimes once I am done, in fact, I have a process one. This is my commission piece in progress. Right now it's in clay. So
now, who is that?
After the sculpture is done in the clay, it's another money manager.
Wow.
Investor.
Yeah.
So after I got the likeness and everything looks correct and the composition looks good, then I would take the sculpture to a mold maker to create mold. Once the mold is done, it will go into the foundry, become wax layer. Just being the foundry is going to take them at least 3.5 months to create one piece.
Wow. Now, before we wrap up, first of all, thank you for coming on and sharing a story of never giving up, keeping that beast mindset. I'm truly sorry for the loss of your mom. I'm truly sorry that you came to a country and your husband walked away and left you to fend for yourself, but you was determined from being in another country that you was not going to let anything stop you from achieving what you wanted to achieve, which is freedom, happiness within yourself. Is there anybody in particular that you want to create with what you do? I know Morgan Freeman, but is there anybody else since you're in the United States that you want to do some work for?
I actually I thought about artist. Prince.
Really?
Prince, that's somebody I really want to create. He was so talented. And I admire him. I'm an artist. I admire other talented people and their dedication. Yeah.
So I guess you're going to sit there and you're going to figure out a way to design a Prince sculpture, a mold, and a bust pretty soon. I think that's on your bucket list.
Yeah.
Right? So absolutely. Before we wrap up, how can the viewers reach out to you to know more about what you're creating and even just to have you on other podcasts? How can the viewers reach out to you?
Yeah. Check out my website, berkshirelegends.com, and also my Instagram, Berkshire_legends, and also Yushu_art, where you see my latest work.
Thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show. Definitely want to see you come back. I want to see all of your work, especially this Prince one that you're about to do. But once again, thank you so much, Shu, for taking the time to come on and share such a beautiful story. Keep that beast mindset going strong. We support you in everything you do. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you follow her, click a button. All it takes is one click to make a difference in somebody's life and to make a friend. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another exciting episode of the Andre the Beast Crayton show.